Good morning, everyone. How you doing today? Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And what I wanted to do here is I wanted to talk housing prices. I wanted to talk affordability. I wanted to just look at the 50 years of data that we've captured and try to estimate what 2029 housing could look like. I believe there is a talk track in the media that housing is unaffordable. It is going up too much. However, housing is a leveraged business. And I thought we should just look at the last 50 years and try to estimate wage growth, interest rates, payment, all of those things, and answer the question with math instead of feelings. I think when you let emotions get in, you can get wound up. When in doubt, I try to leverage math and just let math tell me what we have here. So again, I've got a couple of things to share with you. I want to remind you where all of this data came from. It is accessible in my free course and my paid course. It's in the bonus section. It is my 50-year spreadsheet. I will just share it quickly. So again, it is here, right? All the data is here. I built a new tab called decades because I'm trying to figure out what's been happening over the decades. You can see I've really been playing with the math. I did some of this earlier today in a video that posted at 6 o'clock, but I've been working on it all afternoon. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through kind of how I break down the question, right? What could housing and how unaffordable housing could be by 2029. So to do that, we're going to walk through this PowerPoint together and we're going to answer some questions. So again, the whole idea is, what does 2029 look like, right? So first thing is, I wanted to ask, have we ever had a decade where interest rates went up? And if so, what happened? Because there's a feeling that if interest rates go up, housing must crash. And unfortunately, while that logic seems sound, there are lots and lots of other factors, namely wage inflation. So let's look at it. Over the last 50 years, we have had one decade where rates went up. Every other decade, rates went down. You've heard me talk about it over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I believe we are in something mirroring the 70s. There is an argument to be made that maybe it's the 40s. I haven't really decided which, but I have data for the 70s, so it is right here for you. So let's go to that. So here we go. The 1970s are the only decade interest rates went up. I believe interest rates go up this decade. So in 1970, interest rates on the 30-year mortgage were 8.5%. When we finished the year, they were 11.2. Now, look what happened to housing. Housing went from 24,000 to 48,000. Housing went up 103%, even though mortgage rates went up almost 32%. Note that the median household income also went up. It went up 88.5%. And if you look down here at the bottom, I have done home price to income ratios. It started the year at 275 and finished the year at nearly 300. So almost an 8% change there. But in the end, yes, rates can go up and prices nearly doubled, or actually they more than doubled. Pretty amazing. I bet you would not have guessed that. So that's question one. Question two, tell me about the average wage growth of a family of 4. Now, this data in today's day and age is usually 2 employees working full-time, right? That's what this assumes, family of 4, right? 2 employees. So here we go. So the 1970s to 79, wages went up 88%. 80 to 89, wages went up 63%. 90, they went up 36%. 2000, 25%. And then in 2010 to 2019, wages went up 41%. So the high was the 70s. Again, inflation. I think we have inflation today. The low was what? The 2000s, where wages went up 25%. I bet you wouldn't have guessed that. I bet you would not have guessed the slowest decade for wage growth was 25%. Interesting. All right, well, let's see. Question 3. Given what we just looked at, What does the math say that median income family of 4, that's 2 employees, what would the median income of 2029 look like? That's a reasonable question. So here's the deal. I did the math on all the decades, and the average is nearly 51%. That is the average wage growth over the last 50 years per decade. The 2020 median income was 78,500. So if you take 78,500 multiplied by the 50% growth or 51% growth, you get a median income of a household of 118,457. Yay! Remember, though, that's a family of 4. So that's an average hourly wage of $28.48. Yes, I bet you did not do the math. A family of 4, 2, mom, dad working, they need to average $28.48, and they will make 118 grand a year. Again, this is 9 years from now or 8 years from now. Median hourly wage of $28.48. Okay, that's interesting. Has wages ever outpaced housing growth? That's interesting. I don't know. Let's find out. The answer is yes. In the 90s, housing prices went up 27.1%. You can see that here on the right, where wages went up 35.9%. So you can see it has happened before. Wage growth has beaten home appreciation one time in the last 5 decades. There was one other decade where it was essentially tied, but this is the decade where wages clearly beat home price appreciation. I thought that was interesting. Question 4. What could 2029 median house price look like? All right, let's figure it out. So again, I took the 5 decades, and the average housing growth over a decade is 56.6%. The median house in 2020 was 270,653. If you do the math, housing is 423,843. So median house price near the end of the decade will be over 400 grand. Now for the big question, is housing affordable? So we're going to take income, we're going to take price, which are now fixed, and we're going to tweak interest rates, because interest rates are the wild card in all of this. So here you go. Is housing affordable in 2029? And as you can see, I changed one variable, and one variable only. I changed the interest rate, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%. Everything else is the same. And as you can see, the payment, or what they call the front-end ratio by mortgage brokers, is affordable, even at 7%. Even with a 30-year mortgage at 7%, it is affordable. We have a front-end ratio of 25%. Again, this does assume a family of 4's income is 118,457, which we did the math earlier. But I was actually surprised by this. I expected housing to be affordable up to 5%, perhaps. But if we look here, and again, we'll go back to the spreadsheet, 25.71% is what the housing payment is, or the front-end ratio. This assumes a 10% down payment. So pretty shocking information. Again, lots of assumptions. Again, it's 2029. We did what we could. But this is what happens when math is involved. The median price is now 423. Median family income is 118. Interest rates anywhere from 3 to 7%. We have a low of 16 and then a high of 25 or almost 26. And I believe that's the last slide. It is. But let's go back and look at the spreadsheet and see when was the last time housing was at 26%, because we have that here. Might as well go look at it together. So 50 years, go to the 50-year tab. So we will go to the last time housing was 26%. So keep going backwards, not here, not 10, not 2009. Oh, 2008. 2008 was the last time it was 26%. Oh, then we go back here. What else? Let's see. Any other time it was up there? So 2000 was close. 96, 95, close. Oh, here we go. 1994. Was housing affordable in 1994? That's almost exactly the number, 26.4. So there you go. housing, the front in ratio, pretty crazy. Look at that, 1992, very affordable. Below the 90s, check it out, crazy. This is what happens, folks, when you use math, not feelings. Again, I believe what we have is a decade of inflation. I believe we're going to have wage inflation, right? Making $118,000 a year. What does that mean? It means it's about $28 an hour. And again, that's $28 an hour in 2029, right? So we're 8 years away. Could that be the median income then? Sure. 28 bucks an hour. That could be the median, right? It's pretty easy to see how we get there, right? So yeah, in the end, and the other thing that surprised me is rising rates doesn't necessarily make housing that much unaffordable. Again, just doing math here. So let me know what you think. Leave comments below. This is pretty crazy stuff. Thank you very much. Bye.